Greetings! Thank you for joining me. This is the Paranormal and the Unexplained, and I'm DK Hurtz. Just a quick reminder, if you like what you're seeing, be sure to like my videos and subscribe to my page. That way you can get all my latest videos first. So we'll get started first with a quick story. This was back early on in my career as an investigator. We got a message from a homeowner. She was very concerned about her young daughter and her new invisible friend. Girl was approximately 5 years old and no siblings, only child. And she'd been talking in private in her room, overheard by her mother and father at times, talking to someone, interacting as if someone was there. The parents would go in and check, and no one was there. They questioned her who she was talking to, and she said, "The nice old lady." Well, hearing this, and knowing from previous experience, we had a feeling what we was getting into and what we was going to be dealing with. So we get there for an investigation after everything was arranged and so forth. We get there, set up equipment as normal. We set up video equipment, we set up sound equipment, and so on to make sure catch anything possible visually or auto from your auto, so forth. Also, we set up meters that will detect everything from EMF to temperature changes to any kind of electrical interference type stuff. The night started off pretty quiet. The father and mother and the child stayed in the kitchen area. We usually like to contain everybody to one area for many reasons, safety reasons, and that way the homeowners don't interfere with our investigation in any ways, giving us false info, Anyways, since the daughter's room was technically what we call the hot spot zone, where most of the activities seemed to be taking place, we started in there. Started in there with audio recorder, and what we do when we go in, we basically do a question and answer session with whomever or whatever may be in there to see what we're exactly dealing with. Interesting. Anyways, we started off, like I said, with our voice recorders. We're trying to pick up EVPs. What that is electronic voice phenomenon. And that is spirit communication that we cannot hear with our normal range of hearing. So we use these recorders, recording devices, regular digital recorders that can pick up voices and so forth on them that we can't hear. So we started off with a EVP session. And the way I like to do that is I'll ask some questions, then I'll listen back on the recording to see if I got any responses. Okay. So I asked some following simple questions. I asked for a name. Do you know these people in the house? What is your connection to them? Do you know the year? Questions like that, and a lot of times we're basing them questions on just getting like I said, just a simple, basic feel and so forth of what we're dealing with. And hope we get a response to certain questions, various questions, depending on the situation you're in. You ask and so forth. Anyways, one of the particular questions I asked that night, and without mentioning the little girl's name, of course, I said, do you know her? And if you know her, do you have a connection to her? Are you family? After that, we did maybe about 15-20 minutes of an EVP session. And during the playback, during the question, what is your name? We got the response of, hi. Not the answer we were searching or we asked, but we did get a response. So we know at that point, you're dealing with an intelligent haunting, an intelligent spirit. We'll get into different kinds of that stuff in other episodes on different kinds of haunting, residual, and so forth. But this case, we got an intelligent response. The next question we got a response to was, do you know the child? The response we got was, yes, love her. Okay, that's kind of, when you get EVPs like that, they're emotional. They're touching. You can feel the calm energy at that point to where you're not really dealing with something negative. But there's always them times where something bad can trick you. That'll be talked about in upcoming episodes. But in this case, continue with that response. We also got relation. And when I asked, if you was a relation in any way, how do you know this child? And again, I got the response, love her. Okay. So at this point, I'm kind of feeling, of course, like I said, not feeling anything negative. I'm having that feeling that this is a relative of some sort, okay? Whether it be, aunt, uncle, grandparent, whatever. It's someone that knows the family and knows who this child is. And a lot of times, when a spirit comes to somebody, it may not always look exactly like they did when they passed. Of course, they may look younger or, something a little different, but you still know it's them, okay? We questioned the parents, hey, did anybody pass recently, and so forth and so on. They said yes. The wife's mother just passed about 2 years or so ago, and that they was upset because they never got a chance to see her before she passed. She lived far out of state to where it was not feasible for them to visit often. And she passed rather suddenly, apparently, and they never got a chance to even see her. So at that point, that's the only person they could think of it could be. As in somebody in the family dying recently. So with that knowledge, we went on and started going into more detailed questions, okay? We did another EVP session. This time we did it in the main living room area. We set up our equipment, set up other devices, so forth, catch any kind of evidence we could. At that point, we started an EVP session, started asking some more questions. But right as soon as I started asking the questions, out of the corner of my right eye, I see a shadow walk from what's the bathroom across the hall into the daughter's room. I couldn't make out any features. All I seen was just the shadow figure. I knew it was human. Passed by. I immediately got up with a camera and recorder and proceeded into the daughter's bedroom. Hopefully, catch what I seen on video, and at the very least on recording. I immediately went into the room, looked all over, didn't see anything. I couldn't pick up anything on my camera, nothing. But it did feel, when I say feel, it's one of the things it's an energy you feel. Once you go into a place, you can feel the energy change. You know there's a presence there without there physically being somebody there. There is a temperature change. It was a bit colder in that room. It's also one of those, what I call the spidey senses of a paranormal investigation. It's that feelings you get when you do this long enough and you do it on a regular basis. You get this sixth sense about you to where you can almost get to a point to where you can walk into a building or a house or whatever, and you can instantly feel the energy of the place and know if, hey, this place is going to be a good night. This place feels really active, very haunted, or this place feels very bad. There's something negative here. It's a sense you gain when you're an investigator and you've done this long enough. Anyways, back to the story. I did not pick up any more EVPs recordings, and the rest of the night kind of went pretty quiet. Nothing really very active. We didn't get any more sounds, noises, didn't see anything more. But as the night was winding down, I got this idea. I said, now, I asked the homeowners, I said, does the girl know her grandmother? I mean, she even seen her grandmother, and they said no. And that's it said. This has had me thinking throughout the night. Let's try an experiment. Let's get a picture of your mother, her grandmother, and a few other pictures of some people she wouldn't know. Okay. And having a lot of relatives out of the state, she was able to provide plenty of pictures for the daughter to go through. Okay. she got the photo albums out and so forth, and opened up and looking through them. And she told her daughter, you know, you see the lady you see at night, and during the day that you talk to, you point her out if you see her in here. Well, as you may know already by where this is going, she did point out her grandmother's picture. A grandmother she had never met due to being out of state and has never seen her before she passed. Her grandmother was coming to visit her. Okay. So that was touching, you know, it was really touching for the homeowner. She was very emotional, knowing that, you know, and we helped to explain and let her be calm, and knowing that, hey, you know, her mom is still here watching out for her daughter. She's protecting her, she's talking to her, and keeping her safe. Okay, she's looking out for her. It's one of them happy cases that we always like to have, you know, happy endings. You know, those are always in this field. It's happy endings are always the best ones when you have good news for the homeowner. So, hope you like that little story. It's based on actual investigations, like I said. All my stories will be. With that short story, I'd like to make a quick note on children seeing things. Okay? Don't discourage them in any way. Listen to what they have to say. If they say they're seeing somebody and they're talking to a new friend, pay attention, okay? Pay attention. Don't just write it off as, oh, it's just their imagination or so forth and so on. No. Kids can see stuff more than we can, okay? They're not have all the blockage of our, brainwashing throughout our grown-up years. They see stuff, okay? And take it upon yourself to look into it, okay? Because not all the times, like in this story, not all the times spirits are good. Invisible friends, imaginary friends, so forth. Not all the time they're good. So keep that in mind. Be very cautious. Okay? If you need help, call for help. Call for investigating team. Reliable team. Okay? Call in a medium. Call somebody that knows what they're doing. Okay? Don't take it lightly. That's it for now. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is DK Hurtz. And yes, it does. Take care, all.